celebrating. I'm surprised that women don't do that, but that's my mission, is to say, hey, look, you know, maybe society's conditioned us to not expect that a woman should be celebrated, and maybe women, are conditioned to focus just on the child. But it's just outrageous to me that, a woman can go through all of that, culminate into a day that she gives birth, and not be celebrated. So I hope that wasn't too much, but essentially that's what happened. If that makes sense.
I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. I want to welcome you to Late Night with Yaya Diamond right here on the DuPont Network and everywhere else. Man, I am telling you what. Okay, so listen. We had, well, actually, we didn't have a guest. What we had was a shout out. We had a shout out. And in that shout out, it was a book. And it changed my mind. And I was like, okay, my thought pattern for birthdays is forever changed because this author, okay, has changed everything for me. Like, I will never celebrate anyone else's birthday. I'm celebrating me. All right. Okay. I'm doing it because it's like, okay, birthdays for everybody else. Oh, happy birthday to you. Okay. That's nice. So here's your present. And it's like, but I almost died. Did you know that I was in labor for 2 days? Have you ever heard that? Your mom telling you, I was in labor for 2 days with you. And this and that and the other. Okay, look, I'm telling you right now, it's not only the child's birthday, but it is also your birthday because you almost died during this. You know that women are closest to the death of themselves when they give birth to a child? Do you know that you were at death's doorstep, girl? We got the author right here, and I want to welcome him to the show. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Hello, yeah. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. You changed my mind. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, I get hints of that.
Hints. But thank you so much for the book. We're not going to mention the book at the moment. We're going to go back in time because I really want the full story. How did you know you were going to be an author? And then when did this book come about?
So, unfortunately, I was taking care of my mother at home. She passed away on December the 27th. And she wanted to be buried next to my father in a military cemetery. The cemetery said that if I didn't bury her by the following Friday from that Sunday that she passed away, that she would have to wait a week or 2 weeks in like a freezer. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I was hyper focused on burying her. So that Friday, I made all the arrangements, got everything done, managed to take that Friday slot to be able to bury her. So during the ceremony, a relative came up to me and said, today is your birthday. And I think because I was so hyper focused on taking care of her, I'm thinking, my birthday? Like, what do I know about it? How's it my birthday? I started thinking, if she was here, and this is while she's in the casket, they're going to lower her into the ground. I'm saying she could tell you all about it. She could tell you all about the 9 months before and the day that she gave birth to me. So it was an event for her. And so I started thinking, why is it my birthday? Anyway, it became a nagging thought. I just could not get it out of my mind. People would say, oh, it's my birthday. I'm thinking, what the hell are you celebrating? What do you know about it? What do you know about it? What are you celebrating? I mean, it really, I started to get a little offensive to people because I used to ask folks, what are you celebrating? What do you know about? And they'd be like, I don't know, it's my birthday. I'm thinking, you don't know damn thing about it. What are you celebrating? So this thought, it just kept eating away at me. And I started, jotting down, just like paragraphs. And I started reading. I'm thinking, how can it be that a woman can go through 9 months of pregnancy, alter her physical, psychological, physiological being, change her relationship with everybody, and then have things culminate on a day where she's basically bringing another human being. How is she not celebrating? And I
Mm,
started thinking about every other celebratory, every other event in my life that I struggled through, or every other event that was important to me. I did something and then it culminated, and that was the day. Okay, so I'm going to celebrate my marriage. I'm going to celebrate when I graduate from college. So all these other things, um, I can attest directly to why I'm celebrating. But oddly enough, your birthday is something that just doesn't fit in the same bracket as other celebratory events. So again, I started doing research, and that basically uh, led to me writing this book. And that was in 2019, just before the pandemic. So what is this, 2024? I'm not a writer. I mean, I had to struggle with, had to get help. I'm like, hey, how do I, I started to basically hire coaches and editors and other. I started to use a ghostwriter, and that was a complete disaster because it wasn't what I needed. So I was like, I have to do this. And so that's it. So basically, this book is a result of this nagging thought about whose birthday should also be celebrated. So I'm not saying that people shouldn't celebrate their birthdays the day they were born. I'm saying that we can't, there's a glaring omission. And you have this person who went through all of this, and on the day that culminates into her giving birth, we kind of say, yeah, okay, and we don't really celebrate her after all of that. And it's kind of startling to me that women, if I was a woman, and maybe it's just me being a man, just full of testosterone and full of whatever, but if I was a man, if I went through all that stuff, I'd be like, oh, I'm celebrating this. I went through all this crap. Look at me. Look at my body. My body is different. I'm different. I am celebrating. I'm gonna have a drink, a cigar. I'm gonna do something. I'm celebrating. I'm surprised that women don't do that, but that's my mission, is to say, hey, look, you know, maybe society has conditioned us to not expect that a woman should be celebrated, and maybe women, are conditioned to focus just on the child. But it's just outrageous to me that a woman can go through all of that, culminate into a day that she gives birth, and not be celebrated. So I hope that wasn't too much, but essentially that's what happened, if that
that
makes sense.
is That makes amazing sense. Not only that, that is just an amazing concept. I never really thought about it. As a woman and as a mother, you give birth to your child, and your life is not your own anymore. The moment that that child is born, it is the day that they were born, and now it's all about the child. And then you lose yourself as a woman. You lose your identity. You
Mhm.
become mom, which means you can't be selfish anymore. You feel like as if, your mother. You
Yeah,
can't be all about yourself anymore. That time has passed,
yeah,
and your body does change. It's like, even though you're mom, you look at yourself and you're not. I don't know, a lot of women feel like this. I know I did. I'm not attractive anymore. Look at the stretch marks. Oh my gosh, I got the little overlap going on. I got a C-section cut. I mean, there's some stuff that just changes. Look at my thighs. Oh my gosh, they're thunder dots. I mean, you look at yourself and you're going, how can a man even love me? But I think that we lose ourselves in the child so much so that we don't realize that, again, we need to be celebrating this day as well, because this was also our journey. I
yeah.
love that. I absolutely love that. So, when you began to write this book, how did you write it? In the perspective of a man's perspective, as a son's perspective, or did you put yourself in a woman's seat?
Hello, I'm Ron Isley with the Isley Brothers,
I'm Ernie Isley of the Isley Brothers.
and our new album is Make Me Say It Again, Girl. And our new single from that album is called Last Time.
And we're with Yaya Diamond.
And she's a special lady to us, too.
So I wrote it from the perspective that I was impacted in. So I was impacted from the perspective of a man. So I recognized that when my mother passed away, when we were burying her, my family member mentioned to me that it was my birthday. I was startled that I was the one that was supposed to be celebrated when she's the one who actually had the experience. So it's from a perspective of me recognizing that this needs to be celebrated, that we need to basically celebrate this. And it's not like Mother's Day.
Right.
I mean, so Mother's Day, we can directly attest to, a mother's love and caring, and so we give gifts. That's something that we know, right? So we're attesting to this, and we're basically acknowledging, how much we love and how much we value through the recognition of Mother's Day. But this is different. This is a recognition of that transition that a woman makes from being a woman to being a mother. And then in my research, there was an anthropologist, Dana Raphael, who actually studied a process that she called matrescence, which is the transition of a woman from being a woman to becoming a mother. So there's a focal point or a transitional point that has a name that was coined from an anthropologist. I didn't realize this when I was having this experience. It was when I researched it, because I'm like, this is a thing. A woman is actually, so she's a woman, which is a wonderful thing. She's a woman. And then she's a mother. There's a
Yeah.
thing there. And so, and that thing is matrescence. It's actually called matrescence. So it's an anthropological process that identifies the emotional, physical, psychological events that occur to transition a woman into motherhood. So that's what I'm talking about. So there's Mother's Day, and there's the things that we can attest to directly to appreciate our mothers, but there's also this transition thing that I didn't realize at the time, but in my research, that it's matrescence. So matrescence is that process. So matressa, so it was like confusing, like birth, born, or whatever. So I want to clarify the celebratory recognition of matrescence is matressa. So that's what matressa is. It's the celebratory recognition of a woman's transition from womanhood to motherhood. Yeah, so it's from my perspective. I'm not a woman. I couldn't even begin. And let me say this. I'm embarrassed to say this, but since I've been like thinking about this thing, and now I'm into this. Do you know that if I watch like a pregnant woman on TV, or like birth, and I'm a health professional on birth, I mean, I'm like, I'm like, oh my, I can hardly even. I'm like, how are they even doing that? I mean, walking around. I'm like, how? What? It seems superhuman. It really does. It seems superhuman to me. It's like I get a little bit of gas, and I'm like, and I get, a little constipation, and can I say constipation? Yeah, I get a little.
You could say that, yes.
Okay, I get a little constipation, and I'm like, you would think that, like, he's being killed, and I'm thinking I can't even imagine. So I'm saying, and again, it's just astonishing to me that there's this glaring omission that women go through this tremendous transformation, and we're like, okay, good, give me the baby, and there are a bunch of anthropological and economic reasons why we do that, and it's in the book, but it's just amazing that we can omit celebrating or recognizing that transition that a woman goes through. Now, Mother's Day, Mother's Day, that's different. We can directly attest to all of that. But, birthday, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Wow. You're so right. This is so wonderful. I love what you've done. I love that you studied everything. I love that you now see pregnancy as something that's miraculous because as a woman's body is holding this new body. I mean, this new person. They're going to have their own skeletal system. They're going to have their own reproductive systems. They're going to have their own blood, their own veins, all of these things. Their heart is forming inside of the host of the mother, and yet the mother's blood is not being used for any of that. That is miraculous. As a professional in the in the medical field, that this is a miracle. It's a miracle.
Yeah.
It really is. And but the miracle, I think, is the transition during the 9 months that you have, or a woman has, this child in her body. She's going through some psychological things. Like, the first thing is, oh, excitement, she's pregnant. The second thing is if you get the sickness, your body's trying to reject the pregnancy, you're throwing up, you're doing all this other stuff. That's what that is, right? Then all of a sudden you get to the stage where, oh my gosh, you heard the heartbeat. And it's so little, you don't even think about anything yet until it starts to grow. And then you're like, how is this thing coming out? You mean to tell me that big old hand is gonna go through that little tiny hole? That is gonna hurt.
That's gonna hurt. That is
That's gonna hurt. And believe me, it hurts. Okay.
and
Um,
men have no, we have no reference.
no,
We can't, we just look literally, we just look away. I mean, that's just something, we just simply just look away. We have no way to conceptualize that.
no,
I mean,
it's
we just
terrible.
don't. We just
It's
don't.
ugh, it's the worst pain that I've ever felt in my life. Like, a lot of people say that kidney stones for men feels similar to, giving birth. And I understand that because it's like a little tube and you got this rock going through it. I got it. But imagine that rock stopping and then going down just a little bit and
Yeah.
then stopping.
Yeah.
It's like, at least the rock is going through and then you can take some medication to help it pass. And in a few hours, the rock will pass, right? But my mother was in labor for 2 days. And for the entire 9 months, she couldn't eat. So she had to be fed intravenously. Okay. They kept telling her to abort me because what she said they said that I would eventually kill her because she couldn't eat. She couldn't get anything down. Like, the whole time she was throwing up. Okay. The whole time. There was only a few foods that she could eat, but then she still had to go in and get fed intravenously. So we as women go through a lot to have these children. But I think at the very end, right when we're about to give birth, is when we're either ready or not. And there's a lot of women that aren't ready. But I tell you one thing, when you wrote this book and when you went through the journey of learning about women and learning about the birth and learning about the progress, that to me is a compliment. What kind of outcome do you want women to see? Because I don't think that women understand how valuable they are at this moment.
You just said it. I want to have women stop and think, you know what? That whole 9 months and this whole practice delivering, that was an event for me. And I need to celebrate that. I need to celebrate that accomplishment. Yeah, my kid can, celebrate also, but I need some recognition. I know mothers don't want to feel selfish and say, well, I want recognition for something I did because everything's about the child. But the fact of the matter is, she went through something, it culminated in an event, and how can we just ignore that? I mean, we need to basically say, happy Matressa Day to you. We need to give her cards, take her out to dinner, celebrate her, maybe even talk about that day or the 9 months before. Just like every other celebratory event, we need to put that up there too. We need to basically celebrate the child's birthday and for the day the child was born, and the mother's, literally the mother's birthday. I mean, the dictionary defines, birthday, as the process of bearing or bringing forth offspring. The dictionary says that that's birth, and that being born is coming into existence. But we, again, for anthropological reasons, for just economic reasons, we basically, don't. I mean, men control things, and it's something that we as men, again, we look away. Women can let women handle that whole thing. And, the society just doesn't, men control society, essentially. At least the main structures of society. Of course, interstitial part of society, women control that, but we basically, just we look away, and we don't celebrate that. We don't recognize it as a thing. If men, I'm gonna tell you something, if men went through that, something like that, oh my God, that would be
Race would be
it
extinct.
would be Super Bowl. It would be a Super Bowl party, like every, I did it. I had this thing, this creature in me, and I survived. It would be, it would be a whole thing, but, women, in their strength and resilience and their selflessness, they bring forth life, and they, just keep it going. They don't say, wow, I did this thing, and and it's just so interesting that the children basically take it over. I mean, what the hell? They're like celebrating. What are the little crumb snatchers? What are they celebrating? They're celebrating. And there's an example in the book about one of the Power. I think it's Power Book 2, when the young college student, he finds out that that his aunt is really his mother, and he's like 3 years older than he thought, because he's in high school, and he's basically like older than he thought. He's really not even eligible to to play in high school, but he don't know anything. He what does he know? His aunt knew, because she was the one the cognitive experience of the event, but he didn't know anything about it. He just went along with what people said. Hey, this is your mother. This is your birthday. He didn't know anything about it, but he saw that's his birthday. So it's a fiction. So we walk around with these fictions about the day that we were born. Your mother knows.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Whose birthday is it really anyway?
Yeah. According to the dictionary, it's the mother's birthday.
Yeah.
The dictionary says it. The dictionary says,
That's
that
amazing.
birth is the act or process of bearing or bringing forth an offspring. That's how birth is defined in the dictionary. I
Well,
mean,
well, I am celebrating my day a lot different now. Thanks to you. Thank you so much. Author Dennis Lee Edwards, you can get that book on Amazon. Whose birthday is it? Okay. I mean, what do you really know about the day you were born? All right. Now I'm telling you right now, it changed my mind. It totally changed me, changed my perspective. It literally made me feel better about what I did too. And my body, the way it looks now, because it doesn't look like it was, before I gave birth. Nowhere near it. Sorry. But it also gave me worth. It's like, okay, if bringing forth these two children changes my body, I would never take it back. Ever. Ever, you know? And so this is the body I have now because I've gone through that, and I want to celebrate it.
and we all should celebrate it. I mean, not
Yeah.
your particular.
Not the body, I know. I'm talking about
Fact
the
of
day.
being a mother.
Exactly. Well, Dennis, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate that you did this, and it made me feel a lot better. And if you guys, as women, as mothers, feel better about yourself now, go ahead and make that comment below or to the side or wherever you're watching today. And let us know how this makes you feel. Whose birthday is it? What do you know about the day you were born? Anyway, you should ask these children, okay? Hello, this is not your day, not your event, anything. You were just in there being all snug and warm, and I was out here suffering, okay? That's how it works.
Right.
Thank you, Dennis, again so
Yeah,
much.
thank you so much for having me.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, bye.
This is Dennis Lee Edwards, the author of Whose Birthday Is It? What do you really know about the day you were born? And I have just talked to Yaya Diamond.